Hi there, my name's Evelyn Mae Carter. I was born in a small town where the mornings smelled like rain and the nights were quiet enough to hear your own thoughts. I raised 3 children, lost one good man, and learned more about love than any book could ever teach. This is my story. A story about family, about forgiveness, and about the peace that comes when you finally stop waiting for someone to understand and start forgiving anyway. So, if you've ever felt forgotten, I hope these words help you remember that love never really leaves. It just waits. The day my children sent me away, the sky looked just like the day they were born, gray, but full of promise. I never thought my life would end in a quiet room where no one calls your name. You spend decades holding little hands, wiping tears, teaching them right from wrong. And then one morning, those same hands place yours on a suitcase and close the door behind you. My name's Evelyn Mae Carter, and this is the story of how I gave everything to my children, and how, in the end, it wasn't anger that broke me. It was love. I was born in a little Missouri town you could drive through in under 10 minutes. 2 gas stations, 1 diner, 1 church. Folks waved even if they didn't know you. My husband Henry and I bought a tiny house on Maple Lane right after our wedding. He built the porch himself, hands rough, heart steady. That porch was our kingdom. We'd sit there evenings, coffee in hand, talking about the future we were going to build. We didn't have much, but Henry used to say, "Evie, we may be broke, but we're rich in love." He was right. Every laugh, every fight, every storm we survived just made us closer. 3 kids, Tommy, Grace, and little Maggie. Tommy was born first, the kind of baby who came into the world with a purpose. Grace followed 2 years later, my quiet dreamer. And then Maggie, she was our surprise baby, all giggles and sunshine. Our house was never quiet. There were muddy shoes by the door, crayons on the walls, and always a pot of beans simmering on the stove. Henry worked at the mill. I took odd jobs, laundry, cashier at the store, anything to keep the lights on. Some nights we ate soup and biscuits and called it a feast. But those were the happiest days of my life. We didn't need much because we had each other. The year Maggie turned 6, Henry didn't come home from work. A faulty beam at the mill. They said he never felt a thing. The day they buried him, Tommy held my hand and said, "Don't cry, Mama. I'll be the man now." I remember nodding through tears, thinking, "You're only 8 years old, baby." After that day, I woke up different. The sun rose like always, but my heart felt heavy in my chest. Still, I kept going. Because mothers don't get to quit. I picked up extra shifts. I sold Henry's truck to pay off the mortgage. And every night, I promised those kids they would never go without a home. Years passed like seasons. Tommy grew taller than me and started fixing the porch railings. Grace won a poetry contest at school. I still have that ribbon somewhere. Maggie was my shadow, always asking, "Mama, when I grow up, can I be just like you?" I told her, "Lord, I hope you aim higher than that." I didn't realize then, she would take me at my word. Tommy got a college scholarship first in our family. I cried so hard the day we drove him to campus I couldn't see the road. Grace moved to Chicago after she married a nice man named Robert. Maggie joined a tech company in Dallas, said she wanted something bigger than this town. I was proud. I was so proud. But the house got quiet again. The sound of their bedroom doors closing for the last time echoed for years in my ears. At first, they called every Sunday. Then, every other. Then text messages took the place of voices. "Love you, Mom. Busy week. Call you soon." Can you believe how fast time flies? I'd smile at the screen, pretending it was enough. But the silence between those messages was loud. Mornings started with instant coffee and local news on mute. I'd sit by the window and watch the neighbors' kids catch the school bus, just like mine used to. The days blended together. Laundry, mail, grocery runs, church on Sunday. Life shrinks when you're alone, like the edges of a photo fading away. But every Christmas they came home. At least, for a while. We'd cook, laugh, unwrap presents, and pretend nothing had changed. And then, on New Year's morning, They'd hug me goodbye, each hug shorter than the last. It was last winter when I fell in the kitchen. Slipped on water I spilled, making tea. Laid there for an hour staring at the ceiling fan spinning round and round. I laughed at first, then I cried. When Tommy found out, he panicked. Grace called a family meeting on Zoom. I remember seeing their faces on the screen, each in their own living room, and feeling like a guest in their lives. Tommy said, "Mom, we can't risk you being alone anymore." Grace nodded. Maggie looked away. They started talking about options, retirement communities, assisted living, insurance, words that sound kind but feel like goodbyes in disguise. I didn't argue. Maybe I should have. But I just smiled and said, "You do what you think is best, because that's what mothers do. We make it easy for our children to walk away without feeling the weight we carry." The next week, Tommy drove down with a U-Haul. He moved through the house like a contractor instead of a son. Boxers labeled, decisions made. Grace handled the paperwork. Maggie handled the emotional stuff, as she called it, taking pictures of me on the porch for her Instagram story. I stood in my bedroom and looked at the marks on the doorframe, the pencil lines we'd drawn to track their height each year, faint now, but still there. I ran my finger over Tommy's line from 1998 and whispered, "You made it, baby." I left the house with one suitcase and a box of old letters. The rest they promised to handle. Funny how quickly a lifetime fits into the trunk of a car. The place they chose was nice, clean, bright, smelled like lavender and bleach. The staff were kind. They called me Miss Evelyn and told me I had the best room in the building. There was a garden outside and a piano in the lobby that no one played. The first night, I unpacked my sweaters and framed one photo, Henry holding baby Tommy. I set it by the window and whispered, "We did our best, didn't we?" Then I sat on the bed and waited for the loneliness to settle in. It did, quietly, like dust. Days turned to weeks. Grace sent flowers for Mother's Day. Tommy called on my birthday 5 minutes between meetings. Maggie texted pictures of her kids with captions, "Miss you, Mom, but never love you." I started keeping a journal the same way I did when they were little. Only this time, I was writing to myself. Today I fed the sparrows. One of them landed close enough to see his tiny heart beating. Funny, how something so small can still be alive in a world so big. One afternoon, a young volunteer named Hannah came in with a school project. She asked if she could record me for her life stories assignment. I laughed and told her, "Honey, my life's so ordinary it'd put you to sleep," but she insisted. So I told her about Henry, the kids, the porch, the beans on the stove. And when I was done, she looked at me with tears in her eyes and said, "That's not ordinary, Miss Evelyn, that's beautiful." That night I lay awake, thinking about her words, beautiful. No one had called my life that in a long time. Maybe I had been so busy missing my children that I forgot to see the beauty still here. "Dear Lord," I wrote, "thank you for reminding me that love doesn't end when people leave. It stays quietly, like light through a window." The seasons kept me company. Spring brought lilacs to the garden outside my window, and summer carried laughter from visiting families. I started learning the rhythm of this new life. Breakfast at 7. Bingo at 10. Stories with Hannah after lunch. Some nights, I'd sit by the window and imagine my old porch, the way the wood creaked under Henry's boots. I'd close my eyes and almost smell his coffee. The pain of being forgotten never really went away, but it began to soften like an old scar you stop noticing until someone touches it. I started writing letters, not to mail, just to remember. "Dear Tommy, remember the time you built a treehouse and fell halfway through the roof? You cried so hard, I had to laugh. Dear Grace, your poems made me believe in God again. You had a gift, even when you didn't see it. Dear Maggie, you used to braid my hair and call me your forever best friend. I hope you found someone who loves you the way you once loved me." I kept them in a shoebox under my bed, a mother's museum of unsent words. Some nights, I'd wonder if love still counts when no one's around to receive it. Then I'd think maybe love isn't something that needs an audience. Maybe it just is. One afternoon, Hannah came back, older now, finishing high school. She asked, "Miss Evelyn, if you could tell your kids one thing, what would it be?" I smiled, "That I forgive them." She frowned. "For what?" "For forgetting that I'm still here. For thinking old means finished." Hannah looked down and whispered, "I don't think they forgot, Miss Evelyn. I think they just don't know how to come back." That night, I thought about that. Maybe she was right. Maybe they weren't cruel, just afraid. Afraid to face what time had taken. Afraid to see me smaller, slower, fragile, and maybe I was afraid to. Afraid to forgive out loud. It was late autumn when Tommy showed up unannounced. I saw his reflection in the hallway mirror before I saw him in the doorway. Same jawline as Henry, same tired eyes. He said, "Hey Mom, you look good." I laughed. "That's the biggest lie you've told since high school." He sat beside me and told me Grace and Maggie wanted to come next weekend to talk. I knew what that meant. Guilt, explanations, maybe tears. But I didn't need apologies. I needed presence. We sat in silence for a while. Then I said softly, "You know, Tom, I'm not angry anymore." He looked up, confused. "You should be." "No," I said. "Anger keeps you tied to yesterday. Forgiveness lets you walk into tomorrow." He cried then. The same way he cried when he fell off his bike at 6 years old, and I held him, like I did back then, only this time, he was the one shaking. When Grace and Maggie came, the air felt nervous, like everyone was afraid to breathe wrong. Grace brought flowers, Maggie brought photos, I brought peace. We sat together for hours, no one mentioning the years lost. Just sharing small stories like old friends learning each other again. At one point, Maggie reached for my hand and whispered, "I'm sorry, Mom. I thought I was giving you comfort by finding that place. I didn't realize I was taking home away from you." I smiled through tears. "Sweetheart, you didn't take my home. You just reminded me it wasn't the walls that made it, it was us." That evening, as they left, I handed them each an envelope. The letters I had written and never sent. I told them, these aren't goodbyes. They're reminders of who we were before life got too loud. Grace hugged me longest. Tommy promised to call. Maggie said she'd visit next week with the grandkids. For the first time in years, I believed them. That night, I opened the window, breathed in the cool air, and whispered, "Thank you, Lord, for giving me enough time to say it right." A few weeks later, Hannah came by again. She brought her college acceptance letter, journalism major. She asked if she could share my story for her final school project. I told her, "Of course, honey. Just tell it honest. That's all a story ever needs." She wrote it, titled it "They Sent Me Away." But they forgot what I taught them. It went viral online. People wrote letters to their parents, called their mothers, forgave old wounds. My children read it too, and for the first time, they heard my voice, not as their mother, but as a person. A woman who lived, loved, lost, and still found peace. They came back the next Sunday. Not with guilt, not with flowers, just themselves. We didn't talk much. We didn't need to. Love doesn't always come with words. Sometimes, it just sits quietly between you. And stays. Now, when I look out the window, I don't see loneliness anymore. I see a lifetime that mattered. Every sleepless night, every scraped knee, every meal stretched from nothing, it was worth it. Because love, even when forgotten, never dies. It just waits, patiently, for someone to remember. If you're listening to this, call your mother. Visit your grandmother. Don't wait for tomorrow to remember who taught you how to love. They sent me away, but they forgot what I taught them. A story about forgiveness, peace, and the love that never leaves. Thank you for listening to my story. If it touched your heart, call someone you miss. Tell them they're loved while there's still time to say it. Because in the end, forgiveness doesn't change the past, but it sure makes the future lighter to carry. This was They Sent Me Away, but they forgot what I taught them. I'm Evelyn Mae Carter, and I hope you find your peace, just like I found mine.